Hi guys, Pete here, and 6QW, and I'm using the, this is my RADIG V.3 using the Teensy 3.5 and the software developed by Charlie Moore's ZL2CTM and his design. I just implemented what he had, but I added a few pieces of my own, including the RF amplifier stages. And the RADIG board here uses some modem coupling transformers. That was something I incorporated into his design. A couple of bandpass filters. This is a bidirectional circuit that's a receiver, RF amplifier, transmit pre-driver. There's the transmit driver stage back there, and an IR 510. And this is just something 40 meter. It's got two 40 meter low pass filters in it. One on the driver board back there, so I could use it just by itself. And then there's a 40 meter low pass filter right here. And of course, we've got a little audio amp with LM380 on it. And I'm using a optical encoder on this one. I found that vastly improved over the mechanical. But what I've done is this morning, as I'm looking at the KPH SDR site up in Point Reyes, which is the old lighthouse, and they've got a historical museum, and they put the Kiwi SDR up there. Now this is a waterfall, so the Charlie's rig does not have a waterfall as such. It's just pure SDR. But if you feel so inclined that you want to have a waterfall, you can go to the KPH site, tune up to 40 meters, and boom, there you are. Now, of interest is right here, and this is 7.25, 7.27, so a very strong signal, and that's what you're listening to right here. So I just, it's using, I'm switching between lower sideband and upper sideband, and of course that's an AM signal. So I'm just being able to copy either off of either sideband. But of interest here this morning is to look in this part of the spectrum here from 7.10 to 7.20, and you'll see there are some signals in there, but nothing like these AM signals that you see over here. Now, one of the things that's interesting is there's a group that meets on 7155, and you see some activity there, and I can hear them because I can listen to the audio on the Web SDR, and now you see it's kind of gone blank right here. But in some cases, I won't hear them on Charlie's receiver because portion of his SDR, because in fact they're what they're doing is they're copying up there Point Reyes, and I'm here in Southern California, so you can hear stations frequently on the Web SDR because they've got a kind of a big antenna system up there, and they got some multiple receivers, but you won't hear them here. So we find this is a phenomenon here in Southern California, is that quite a few of the nets, matter of fact, this is a net right here, and I'll point to it. This is the 7185.5 group, and I can hear those guys direct, but you also see some really bright signal. I can just barely hear them, and that's that signal right there. So it can be heard by the Web SDR, but not necessarily by the local stations here. So quite a few guys really operate the nets with the Web SDR, and then just use their transmitter. Now I've got the linear amp on, and the signals mustn't be too good between here and San Francisco, because I can see myself on the spectrum running 600 watts, but you hardly see anything running you know, like 100 watts. So if you build Charlie's radio and you have this insatiable urge to have the waterfall, just go to a Web SDR and you can look at that and you see all the activity that's going on. So another strong signal is at 7220. So let's tune up there. That's 7220 right there, and that's what I'm copying on the design from Charlie Moore's ZL2CTM. But this really strong one is over here at 7270. So you can see the effect of the AM stations, and you see nowhere the kind of signal strength in the part of the band used by the amateurs these days, which is the 7.1 to 7.2. So you don't see a lot of really strong signals in there this morning. So anyway, I've made about 3 dozen contacts with the RADIG V.3. Working pretty good. One of the challenges I want to take up is to take the Hilbert transforms that are available in the Iowa Hill software and come up with various filters and test various filters on this. I think the stock filter that Charlie had was around 2.6, 2.8 kilohertz, and I'd like to narrow that up a little bit. I'm thinking with two pins on the Teensy, using a binary decode, you could have 4 filter bandwidths. So it'd be kind of cool to put a 6 kilohertz AM wide. If you did want to listen to these AM stations, you'd have a little wider bandwidth than the normal single sideband bandwidth, and maybe something at 2.2, 2.8, and even one at 600. So if you wanted to copy CW, you could put the 600 hertz. So a 2-digit input would give you 4 filters that you could select, and so you'd have to write some code in there. It says, you know, if it's this code, go to this set of filters. So you have to write some subroutines in there to put the filter bandwidth. But that's not too hard to do, and has been done before. So we're listening to the 7220, which is this one right there. There's one at 7210. But the really strong one is the 7270. Which is this one right here. There's somebody on at about 7135. Right here. That's right there. That sounds like somebody south of the border in Mexico. Now with the time change, it's last week it was 6:30, so some of this is changing. Now here's a good example. We're not hearing this signal here, that's just stronger into the SDR than I'm receiving down here in Southern California. Station you're hearing now is right there. The other station is really strong into the SDR web receiver. I'm copying right there. So it just goes to show that why guys will use the SDR receivers. They can't pick them up direct, so they go to the web. There's somebody at about 185. That's 185.5 right there.
About just about anything. We try to leave politics out there as much as we can.
Somebody really strong on 71.55. But I'm not hearing him here locally. Well, that's 148. That's what you're listening to now. 148. 148. Right there. That's what you're listening to. He just stopped. You're listening to the RADIG V.3. You can just barely hear that. The SDR is barely hearing the station that you're listening to now. There's a latency delay. Just stop transmitting. You can see that there. That's interesting. I can just barely. I can't see the station is talking right now. Or just barely. N6UW here. Using the ZL2CTM with the RADIG V.3, and then looking at it also on the KPH SDR. Pete Air N6QW. I'm going to go up to 7170, which is right in here. Now I'm hearing things that they're not seeing at the Web SDR. Says this is 7175. QRZ is this frequency in use? Is the frequency being used? November 6, Quebec Whiskey, Norway 6, Queen Willie, N6QW. Is this frequency in use? There's barely a trace of me. There's somebody on 7200.
This is Chibosco, and we're looking for relays. You want to join us? Come on back.
7192.
Is that Victor Echo Sierra, Gary?
That's the Chibosco net there. That's 7185. You're listening to now.
I heard a KK something in there, so maybe I missed somebody else. We'll find out here close to the end. And with that, let's move over there. Where's the service?
I'm on 7.192, which is right in here. Just barely hear somebody come on right here. That's this station right here. $185. 185.5. You're listening to that.
Hopefully you guys get everything loose and cleaned out. I may try to get hold of you later sometime to find out any ladder line down there.
185.5. Something down here in 71, 20, 30, 40. Not hearing them direct. I'm listening to 155 now.
Buenos días, Armando, creo que eres tú también. Buenos días, Cicerón, Selima, Pato Bravo, ahí está el Tocadito, está Roberto, está Santana, Juanito, y creo que es Armando el último que escuché.
It's 133, 10, 20, 30. There it is, right there. Kind of cool, guys, what you can do with the Web SDRs. The really strong stations are like at 7220. Right there. And then 7270. $72.70. $185.5. Anyway, Pete here, N6QW. Just a little demonstration here of the RADIG V.3 and the using it with the Web SDR. So that if you want a waterfall, you got it. N6QW out.